and welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My name is Marin, and here you will find a little beauty, a little books, and a little teaching content. So if that sounds like something you might enjoy, I would love for you to subscribe and stick around and join me in my little corner of YouTube. Today's video is going to be my May reading recap, where I will take you through the 10 books that I read during the month, give you some overall reading stats, and share a little book haul. So let's go ahead and get into it. So as I always do in these videos, my recap will come in the form of me ranking my books from my least favorite to my favorite. I will give you a little tiny reason why or what the book was about. So that is how this is going to work. Let's dive on into my rankings. Coming in at number 10, my least favorite book of May was King Solomon's Mines by H. Rider Haggard. This had been sitting on my shelf for a very long time, probably close to 15 years, because I'm sure I picked this up when I was working at Barnes & Noble and had never read it. Wasn't even really sure what it was about, but basically this is like the inspiration for the Indiana Jones movies. However, this had a lot of things wrong with it in terms of racism, the way the black characters were described, and also the writing is not great. So, didn't love this one, 2 stars. At number 9 is the 28th Nancy Drew book, which is The Clue of the Black Keys by Carolyn Keene. This one suffered from like the same issues that I just mentioned with King Solomon's Mines. Didn't like the representation, didn't like the fact that no thought or study was put into what they were using. This is based on like an Aztec mystery, and it was very clear the authors knew nothing about it. I talked about this one in a vlog. I'll link that up above in the cards. This is pretty par for the course considering that the book was written in like the 1950s, but right now reading it in 2024, it just doesn't work. So I also gave this one 2 stars. At number 8 is a book that I wanted to really like. That is The Blackwoods by Brandy Colbert, which I also gave 2 stars. I just felt like this one was boring. I did not really see much of the point, if I'm gonna be honest. I felt like more could have been done to make this more exciting, but as it is, this is a contemporary book that just didn't work for me. So 2 stars for this one. At number 7 is Nightwatching by Tracy Sierra. This was the Literally Dead book club pick for April. I was a little bit behind. I was looking forward to reading this. This is a suspense book, not a mystery or a thriller, so a little bit different in terms of genre than I normally read. But I felt like this one, again, just kind of dragged. I did not have that sense of tension that I wanted from it. It started out really strongly, and then as the book went on, it just became very meandering and mediocre. So I think I actually gave this one 2.5 stars on my rating. I wrote down 2 stars because that's what it is on Goodreads, but yeah, not my favorite. Would consider reading from this author again. This book just didn't work. At number 6 is Sisters of the Lost Nation by Medina. This is another one that I really wanted to like because I feel like it has very important commentary. This is about Anna. She is part of a Native American tribe, lives on a Native American reservation, and women are going missing from her reservation. And when her sister becomes one of the women who disappears, Anna kind of dives into what is actually going on. So I wanted to like this one more. I just felt like it was kind of boring, for lack of a better word. And it had dual timelines, which just did not work. You would get into something that would start building up the tension, and then you would flash back. So for me, the story structure didn't work very well. I would be interested in reading from this author again, assuming that he does not do dual timelines again. But the structure of this book just was not working for me, so I gave this one 3 stars. At number 5 is Demonglass by Rachel Hawkins. This is the 2nd book in her Hex Hall series. We are following Sophie, who can do magic. She is sent away to this boarding school because she breaks a law. And in that first book, something comes out about Sophie's past, who she is, what she is, etc. And that kind of spawns onto the second one. This takes place pretty quickly after the first book. This actually takes place in England, so that was nice to have like a change of setting. The action and intrigue definitely ramped up in this one. You are definitely prepared for the third and final book of what was the original trilogy, and it ended on a cliffhanger. So I really, really liked this one. Very strong second book, and I gave this 4 stars. At number 4 is A Fire Endless by Rebecca Ross. This completes her Elements of Cadence series, where we are following multiple people, but basically you're following Adira and Jack, and also Sidra and Torin. And this is based around Scottish mythology, if you will, Scotland as a country, and I really, really liked this one. There was something very gentle and lovely about these books. There is an inclusion of music in this book, which, as someone who played violin for many, many years, I really love that, and I loved the audiobook narrator of these. She did a phenomenal job, really like engaged me in the story, and I loved this. I just felt like this series is absolutely lovely. There's no other word to describe it, and I gave it 4 stars. The next book was White Cat by Holly Black. This one I was not expecting to like as much as I did because it was written so long ago. This was very different than pretty much anything I have read from Holly Black. This is a paranormal / magical realism type world. We are following a male point of view, which was very different. Almost all of her other books, I think, have been female point of views, and I loved that. I also just loved the world. I felt like it was very unique. So we are following a world where everybody pretty much can do some type of magic. It is called the Curse Worker Trilogy. This was the first in the series, and I loved it. I was fully expecting not to like it, fully expecting to put this series on like a DNF list, but nope. Now I want to read the second and third book, so I guess yay for that, but also not really, because it adds another series to my TBR, but I highly recommend this one if it sounds at all interesting, because it really worked for me. And I did give it 4 stars. Coming in at number 2 for the month was Far From the Tree by Robin Benway. This was my buzzword pick for March? Yeah. March or April, I can't remember. This follows adopted siblings who meet each other and then try to work out whether or not they want to try to go after the information regarding who their birth mother is. All 3 of the characters come from very different backgrounds, and this one made me cry. Robin Benway just has a way of like evoking emotion in me. This book was no different, and I gave it 5 stars. And my favorite book of the month was a reread, which was surprising because usually upon reread I end up dropping the rating, but not in this case. This is Akata Witch by Nnedi Okorafor, the first book in her Insipidity Scripts series. That series is on my list to finish in 2024, but I needed to do a reread because I hadn't read it since grad school, I think in like 2011 or 2012, and I am happy to report that it still stands up to the test of time. I loved this one. We're following Sunny. Her family was initially in the US, moves back to Nigeria, and when she is in Nigeria, she is introduced to a magical realm, if you will. They call them the leopard people, and this is her story of what she finds out, what she needs to do. They are working to prevent something cataclysmic from happening, and I loved the characters. I love Sunny, loved everything about this book. Would highly recommend, and I am looking forward to finishing the series this year. This one still earns its 5-star rating, which does not happen very often for me. Now it's time to move on into reading stats for May. So in May, I did read a total of 10 books for a total of 3,381 pages and 50.75 3/4 hours listened on audio. In terms of format, once again, audiobook was the winner. I read 8 audiobooks, 1 ebook, and 1 mixed media book, which was a combination of physical and audio. For genres, I had 2 each of fantasy, paranormal, and contemporary, and then 1 each of thriller, suspense, historical, and classic. For series information, I continued 2 series, started 3 series, and completed 1 series with The Elements of Cadence by Rebecca Ross. And I've also decided to DNF 1 series, which was King Solomon's Mines. There's no way I'm reading any more of those, but that is a series, so no, I will not be continuing that one. For authors, I read from 7 returning authors and 3 new to me authors. In terms of the type of book, I read 6 borrowed books and 4 owned books. Age breakdown works out to 4 adult books, 5 young adult books, 0 middle grade books, and 1 children's book. For star ratings, that works out to 4 2 stars, 1 3 star, 3 4 stars, and 2 5 stars. This works out to an average rating of 3.4 stars, which is my lowest average rating of the year because I did have so many 2 stars this month. Not great, but it is what it is. Sometimes that happens, so I'm not going to stress too much about it, but hopefully that does not continue into June. I always end these videos off with a little book haul, so let's go ahead and do this. All 3 books that I picked up in the month of May are from the same exact series. They are right here. Samantha Shannon is rewriting her Bone Season series. I received the first one for Christmas from my mom. That was the rewritten version, and she has now completed the next 3 in terms of her rewrites. So on the front cover it says author's preferred text. So obviously I loved the Bone Season. I'm really looking forward to reading like the rewrite of it. I think that'll be really exciting. But I did go ahead and pick up the other ones. I loved the covers. They're beautiful. Book 2 is The Mime Order. Book 3 is The Song Rising. And book 4 is The Mask Falling. So I picked all of those up. She is currently writing the 5th one, I think, but as she was working on it, she realized that there were just things about the original story that she didn't love, so she went back and rewrote them. So that necessitated re-releasing the previous ones, but I am really looking forward to reading what's been written of this series. I'm thinking next year that may be on my like series TBR where I will reread the newly written version of the Bone Season and then tackle these, but we'll play that by ear. They are kind of chunky, but I've loved both books that I've read by her so far, the Bone Season, and then I read The Priory of the Orange Tree last year. So I'm looking forward to reading these, just not this year, most likely. And that's it, y'all. That is my May reading recap. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel if you would like to see more from me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.